Hi, and welcome to the Toneway Method for Guitar Play Melody by Ear Lesson 4 video, Chords as Numbers. In this lesson, you're going to learn a simple way to refer to chords in songs. It's very helpful, especially if you're playing with other people who are playing various instruments and switching chords a lot. Now, the key to this approach is to think of chords as numbers, just as we thought of tones as numbers. If I were to say to you, play a 3, a 1, and a 1 in the key of G, you would know what to do. Remember Shady Grove? Now, let's say we're playing Shady Grove in the key of G. You know the 1 tone. We're going to learn what the 1 chord is. In the beginning, we played the simplest form of Shady Grove. First, we played it in the key of G, and then the key of C. Now take a look there. You see the 1? Every song has a 1 chord. Now, the 1 chord equals the key we're in. So when we played the song in the key of G, our 1 chord was a G. When we played it in the key of C, our 1 chord was a C. So this is what's called key independent. It can change easily. So if we want to play it in the key of D, our 1 chord is now a D. F, our 1 chord is an F. But what if we want to play it in the key of B flat? Our 1 chord is still a B flat. Now the 1 chord is the most important chord. That's why it's called a 1 chord. It's also referred to as the root chord. Again, the 1 chord equals the key we're in equals the root chord. The next most important chord present in most songs is the 5 chord. Remember when we played Hot Cross Buns? That song has a 1 chord and a 5 chord. Now, how do we find out what the 1 chord is and the 5 chord is? We already know that if we're in the key of G, our 1 chord is a G. But to find out what the 5 chord is, I'm going to put my hand up here. G is my 1 chord, or our 1 chord, I should say. G. Now, after a G, there's no H. It comes back to A. So G is our 1 chord. A is our 2 chord. B, C, D is our 5 chord. So for that Hot Cross Buns, we need a G and a D. Now, when we play it in the key of C, our 1 chord is now C. C, D, E, F, G. So we need a C and a G. Now here's a song a little more interesting maybe than Hot Cross Buns, called Down in the Valley. It's a waltz. Do you know it? It's an old song. You see the 1 and the 5 there. We're going to play it in the key of C. Now it's a waltz, and if you don't know it, listen first and then come back and play it with me. When there's a 5 there, when you see a 5, that means you're going to change to your 5 chord. If we're in the key of C, our 5 chord is a G. And then when you see the 1, we're going to go back to our C chord. Boom, chop, chop, waltz. Down in the valley, valley so low, hang your head over, hear the wind blow, hear the wind blow, dear, hear the wind blow, hang your head over, hear the wind blow. Now, if we want to play it in the key of G, our 1 chord is a G, and our 5 chord, G, A, there's no H, G, A, B, C, D. So we need a G and a D. Down in the valley, Now there are so many songs that just have two chords, the 1 chord and the 5 chord. But there are jillions that have 3 chords, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. And we played some of those songs in the past lessons. Now we're going to look at a song called Worried Man Blues. It's a great example of a 3-chord song. Now how do we find out what our 4 chord is? If we want to play this song, Worried Man Blues, in the key of C, we can hold up our hand. C is our 1 chord, D is our 2 chord, E, F would be our 4 chord, and G is our 5 chord. C, F, and G. So let's give it a whirl in the key of C. Now I'm just going to play it kind of fast because we're not really, the lesson's not about learning the song so much as learning this number system. I'm going to start out on the 1 chord. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Now you see it goes to the 4 chord, so that's going to be F in the key of C. It takes a worried man to sing a worried, now we're going to go back, song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried to our 5 chord now, but I won't be worried long. How about in the key of G? Our 1 chord is a G, A, B, C would be our 4 chord, and D is our 5 chord. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Now you see how easy it works to do these chord numbers for the keys of G and C. But let's say I want to do my song in the key of B. My 1 chord is a B. My 2 chord is a C sharp. My 3 chord is a D sharp. Yikes! That's too much to worry about, figure out the sharps and the flats and how to make them. But with just the keys of G or C and a capo, we can play these chord numbers in any key. All right, let's say I want to play my song in the key of B. I'm going to put my capo at the 4th fret like we did in the last video about capos. I'm going to use the key of G shapes, and I'm going to use the numbers, the chord numbers for the key of G. So my 1 chord is a G shape, but we're in the key of B. But I don't have to think about that. I don't have to think about sharps or flats or anything. It's just simple. So my 1 chord is a G shape, my 2 chord, A shape, my 4 chord, C shape, my 5 chord, D shape, etc. Now I'm going to put up a chart that has all of the chord numbers, 1 through 7 for the keys of G and C. So with this and the capo, you can play any chord number, any chord in any key. I'm also going to put up that capo chart again. It's the same one that's in the last video, so that you can see where you put your capo, to play, to get whatever key you want. Here's a scenario that shows how this number system works. Let's say we're in a jam and it's Susan's turn to lead her song. She says, I want to do this song in the key of C. It has a 1 chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord, and a 2 chord. Well, we can all know what she means. C, D is our 2 chord. C, D, F, and G. All of our books at toneway.com have the numbers for chords. We have song books. We have one that has almost 400 of the traditional songs, but we have a lot of other books too, so check that out. You may find it interesting to know why there are so many 3-chord songs out there in the world. Take a look at the tone wheel here. These are tones in the scale. Now, with a 3-chord song, remember we have our 1 chord, our 4 chord, and our 5 chord. Those 3 chords capture all the tones in the scale. So, just to note that the 1 chord is made up of a 1 tone, a 3 tone, and a 5 tone. A 4 chord is made up of a 4 tone, a 6 tone, and a 1 tone. And a 5 chord is made up of a 5 tone, a 7 tone, and a 2 tone. So you see all the tones are covered there. So when a melody changes, if I'm singing the 1 chord, it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. The 1 tone, the 3 tone, and the 5 tone are all needed here. But when I change to it takes a worried, they're not there. So I need to change to my 4 chord because the melody tones are there. Takes a worried man to sing a worried. I have to go back to my 1 chord because the tones and the melody are there. So that's why we need to change chords. Now, a song like Hot Cross Buns, it only had the 1 chord and the 5 chord because all the melody tones were in just those 2 chords. The more you use this chord number system, the easier it becomes. Well, I hope you found this lesson helpful. I'm Leslie Abbott with the Toneway Project. Please go to toneway.com and see all there is available for you. Happy playing!